You've started a new skill, full of initial excitement, only to hit a wall of slow progress. That initial surge of enthusiasm, that quick win, feels good. But then the grind sets in. The progress slows or even seems to reverse. This isn't a failure, it's the universal rhythm of true growth. Picture this. You've just decided to change your life. Maybe you bought a high-end mechanical keyboard to learn Python. Maybe you signed up for a specialized gym, or downloaded a complex project management tool to launch that side business. For the first 2 weeks, you are a god. You're absorbing information like a sponge. You're hitting every milestone. You feel that electric hum of potential in your chest, and you tell yourself that this time, it's different. You've finally found the thing. You've finally found the gear. Then the hum stops. Suddenly, you're staring at a screen for 4 hours and you haven't written a single line of working code. You're hitting the gym 5 days a week, but the scale hasn't moved in 20 days. You're posting content, refining your product, tweaking the landing page, but the user growth is a flat line. The excitement is gone. In its place is a cold, heavy realization. You are no longer getting better. You are stuck. This is the moment where most people quit. They don't quit because they lack discipline. They don't quit because they aren't talented. They quit because they are operating under a lie. The lie is the linear climb. We are conditioned to believe that growth looks like a 45-degree angle. We believe that if we put in 10 units of effort, we should see 10 units of result. We expect a steady, upward trajectory where every day is slightly better than the last. We want the climb. We want the victory. We want the evidence. But the climb is a fantasy. The reality of mastery is a jagged, frustrating, non-linear mess. True progress doesn't move in a line. It moves in spurts. You have a brief window of rapid improvement, followed by a long, grueling stretch where nothing seems to happen. This stretch is the plateau. The plateau is where the magic happens. The plateau is where the skill actually sinks into your bones. When you first start, you're experiencing beginner's gains. Your brain is making low-hanging fruit connections. It's easy because you're moving from 0 to 1. But moving from 1 to 2 is a different game entirely. To move forward, your brain and body have to reorganize. They have to integrate. Integration is invisible. Integration is silent. Integration feels like standing still. Think about the moment you realize you're actually thinking in Python. For months, you were translating English thoughts into code, struggling with syntax, fighting the logic. You felt like you were failing, but in the background, your neural pathways were shifting. You weren't stuck on that plateau, you were building the foundation. The plateau wasn't a wall, the plateau was a forge. The danger is that we mistake the plateau for a ceiling. We think we've hit our limit. We think we've reached the edge of our natural ability. We see the flat line on the graph, and we assume the journey is over. It is not over, it is just beginning. The only difference between the person who masters a craft and the person who remains a dabbler is how they handle the plateau. The dabbler views the plateau as a sign to stop. The master views the plateau as the place where the real work begins. They stop looking for the spike. They stop chasing the rush. They learn to love the stillness. Let's look at how this actually plays out in your life right now. Imagine you are building a startup. You spent the first 3 months in a fever dream of creation. You built the MVP. You got 10 friends to use it, and you felt like a visionary. Then you hit the market. For the next 6 months, your growth is flat. You're iterating, you're emailing leads, you're fixing bugs, but the needle isn't moving. You feel like a fraud. You start wondering if the idea was wrong or if you're just not founder material. This is the startup plateau. The growth isn't happening in your user count. It's happening in your understanding of the customer. You are learning what doesn't work. You are stripping away the ego. You are building the operational resilience required to handle 1,000 users. If you quit now, you miss the spike that comes the moment the product market fit finally clicks. Or maybe you're in a fitness journey. You lost the first 10 pounds in a month. You felt invincible. Then you hit the wall. You're eating the same calories, lifting the same weights, sleeping 8 hours. And for 6 weeks, your body doesn't change an inch. You feel betrayed by your own biology. This is the physiological plateau. Your body isn't failing you, it's stabilizing. It is adapting to the new stress. It is strengthening the connective tissue and optimizing the metabolic pathways. The progress is happening at a cellular level, far below the surface of the skin. The person who quits here never sees the sudden, dramatic shift in composition that happens in week 10. Or perhaps you are a creative, trying to find your voice in a saturated digital landscape. You started a newsletter or a channel. At first, the novelty brought in a few followers. Then the algorithm stopped favoring you. You're producing high-quality work, but the views are stagnant. You feel invisible. This is the creative plateau. This is where you stop relying on the hack and start developing a style. This is where you learn to write for an audience of one instead of a crowd of thousands. You are developing a depth of thought that cannot be rushed. You are moving from being a content creator to being an artist. The doubt, the fatigue, the silence. These are not signs that you are doing it wrong. They are the requirements for entry. If progress were a straight line, mastery would be cheap. If every hour of work yielded a visible result, everyone would be an expert. The plateau is the filter. It is the mechanism that separates those who want the status of success from those who actually want the skill. Stop asking when the next jump will happen. Stop checking the metrics every hour. Stop comparing your plateau to someone else's spike. You cannot force the spurt. You can only prepare for it. You prepare by showing up when it feels pointless. You prepare by refining the boring details. You prepare by trusting the process over the result. The goal isn't to avoid the plateau. The goal is to inhabit it, to live there, to breathe there, to realize that the feeling of getting nowhere is actually the feeling of your foundation becoming unbreakable. When you finally break through, and you will, it will feel like it happened overnight. People will call you an overnight success. They will see the vertical line on the graph and assume it was easy. They won't see the months of flatness. They won't see the silence. They won't see the war you fought with yourself in the dark. But you will know. You will know that the spike was just the result of the plateau. A man sits at a desk at midnight, his eyes bloodshot, staring at a screen of red error messages, his fingers still typing.